When Kim Jong-il, North Korea's enigmatic dear leader, was born, according to the regime's official narrative, strange omens heralded his arrival. A brilliant new star illuminated the sky above Mount Paektu, North Korea's sacred mountain, while a double rainbow curved across the heavens. His birthday, now celebrated as the Day of the Shining Star, became one of the nation's most important holidays, allegedly marked with days of festivities around the world. The truth, however, is less celestial. Historical records show he was born in 1941, not on Mount Paektu but in a remote Siberian village during his father's military exile. That small discrepancy would set the tone for Kim Jong-il's entire rule. A carefully crafted illusion of grandeur, concealing a reality of hardship, repression, and famine for his people. The cult of personality. Kim inherited the mantle of leadership from his father, Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea. By the time Kim Jong-il rose to power in the 1990s, the country had become one of the most isolated places on Earth, sustained by a massive propaganda machine. Children were taught from nursery school that just as plants require sunlight, they themselves could only grow under the benevolent care of their great leader. Every visitor arriving in Pyongyang was compelled to bow and lay flowers at towering statues of Kim and his father. Even everyday life was suffused with rituals of loyalty, including mandatory self-criticism sessions where citizens had to confess supposed shortcomings in devotion to the regime. Behind the curtain of myth-making, however, lay the harsh truth. The country's economy was collapsing, food shortages were rampant, and fear kept the population in line. A leader's luxury amid mass hunger, while ordinary citizens subsisted on meager meals, corn porridge, pickled cabbage, and occasionally rice, Kim indulged in extravagant banquets. His favorite delicacies included sushi, shark fin soup, roast donkey, and fresh lobsters, all consumed with silver chopsticks and washed down with fine French wines. He was known to spend over $700,000 annually on Hennessy cognac alone, while the average citizen earned less than $2,000 a year. Even Kim's dogs were treated to lavish cuts of beef, an ingredient so rare in North Korea that most families never tasted it. When one of his kennel masters was caught stealing the dog food, he was sentenced to 2 years of hard labor, a punishment that underscored the grotesque divide between ruler and ruled. At one point, Kim became intrigued by McDonald's hamburgers, which were banned in North Korea. He dispatched his personal chef to Beijing to bring some back. By the time the burgers arrived, they were cold, but Kim still ate them with curiosity. Soon after, he introduced goji gopan, literally double bread with meat, to university students, a thinly veiled imitation of the Western hamburger. Another bizarre scheme involved giant rabbits. A German breeder famous for producing rabbits the size of small dogs sent a dozen to North Korea to help alleviate food shortages. Instead, the creatures were roasted and served at Kim's lavish birthday banquet. A man of extraordinary talent. North Korean state media painted Kim Jong-il as a Renaissance man. Official accounts claimed he authored 1,500 books and composed 6 operas, all supposedly unmatched in human history. His sporting skills were equally fantastical. The first time he picked up a golf club, he reportedly scored 11 holes in one. 17 bodyguards signed statements verifying the feat. Having accomplished perfection, Kim graciously retired from golf forever. Kim was also a cinephile. He amassed a collection of some 15,000 films, with the James Bond franchise and Rambo among his favorites. Dissatisfied with the stiffness of North Korean productions, he blamed the actors and directors. His solution was both audacious and chilling: kidnap talent from abroad. The abduction of Choi Yoon-hee and Shin Sang-ok. In 1978, South Korean actress Choi Yoon-hee was lured to Hong Kong under the pretense of a film deal. She was sedated, bundled into a boat, and shipped to North Korea. 6 months later, her ex-husband, renowned director Shin Sang-ok, was abducted in similar fashion after searching for her. For years, both lived under constant watch. Shin, after failed escape attempts, endured prison and forced labor. Eventually, Kim reunited the pair, ordering them to remarry and revitalize North Korea's film industry. Together, they produced a string of movies, including Pulgasari, a Godzilla-inspired monster film that cost more than any North Korean production before it. In 1985, one of their works, Salt, even won praise at the Moscow International Film Festival. Still, Kim's cinematic empire could not mask its propagandistic undertones. In 1986, during a trip to Vienna, the couple slipped away from their guards and sought asylum at the U.S. Embassy. Their daring escape exposed Kim's bizarre obsession with cinema to the world. Life for the ordinary North Korean. While Kim lived as though he were a caricature of a decadent despot, his citizens endured grim realities. Pyongyang's, though better off than rural regions, had only 8 cinemas, all showing propaganda films in which North Koreans triumphed over Americans, Japanese, or South Koreans. Televisions and radios were tightly controlled, preset to government stations. Foreign books and magazines were forbidden. Electricity was unreliable, with studies suggesting only 1 in 4 households had access. Frequent blackouts forced families to cover their windows with newspapers or plastic sheets in a desperate attempt to conserve heat. Apartments in high-rise blocks became prisons of cold and darkness, especially for elderly residents trapped by failed elevators. Bribes were often required to move to lower floors. Military might and maritime misadventures. Kim maintained his grip on power through the military, which he prioritized over civilian needs. North Korea possessed one of the world's largest standing armies, and its navy frequently tested the patience of its southern neighbor. In 1998, South Korean fishermen made a shocking discovery: a stranded North Korean submarine entangled in their nets. When towed to port, it sank under mysterious circumstances. Inside were 9 bodies, 4 Special Forces operatives and 5 submariners. The operatives had executed the sailors before committing suicide, a grim reminder of North Korea's military code: die before capture. More tragically, in 2010, the South Korean warship Cheonan was sunk by a North Korean torpedo, killing 46 sailors. Though Pyongyang denied responsibility, international investigators traced the attack to a North Korean submarine. Kijongdong, the propaganda village. One of the strangest symbols of North Korea's obsession with appearances is Kijongdong, a village built near the demilitarized zone. To casual observers, it seemed like a thriving model community, with colorful buildings, schools, and even a hospital. In reality, the structures were hollow shells without glass windows or interior rooms. Lights were switched on and off by timers to simulate life. The showpiece was a towering 160-meter flagpole, once the tallest in the world, designed to outdo South Korea's flagpole across the border. For years, loudspeakers in the village blared propaganda urging South Koreans to defect, while South Korean speakers blasted K-pop and democratic messages in return. Few were fooled. The Peace Village, as Pyongyang called it, became known internationally as a Potemkin facade, death of a generalissimo. Kim Jong-il ruled North Korea for nearly 2 decades. When he died in 2011, state television showed rivers of people wailing and collapsing in grief. But insiders revealed that public mourning was mandatory. Failure to cry convincingly could mean imprisonment, or worse. As one Pyongyang student confessed, his future depended on his ability to weep. In North Korea, even tears could be a matter of life or death. Legacy of illusion. Kim Jong-il's reign was a study in contrasts: dazzling displays of wealth, bizarre obsessions, and ruthless control, all set against the backdrop of mass starvation and repression. He projected the image of a genius artist, athlete, and statesman, while his nation remained trapped in poverty and isolation. Today, his son, Kim Jong-un, continues the dynasty, maintaining the cult of personality, the propaganda machine, and the strict grip over a suffering populace. North Korea remains a land of illusion, where leaders live like emperors and the people are left to survive in the shadows. Thanks for watching. If this deep dive into North Korea's shadowy past gripped you, hit like. It really helps the channel. Subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss our next story. What part shocked you most? The propaganda village, the film kidnappings, or the submarine incidents? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone.